Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. On today's show, I'm breaking down my top 10 shooting guards in the NBA draft. Now, you saw I did my top 10 point guards. Today, we got the top 10 shooting guards, and I'm going to start today's show off with a question for you. Not the best shooting guard. Let me know who the best player in this year's draft is in the comment section down below, because hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, he's probably going to show up in today's video. I'll start off with number 10, a kid who high school mixtape was absolutely top of the charts. If you watched him in high school, you thought he'd be the number one pick by now, but unfortunately, that athleticism did not translate to him being a great player. My number 10 shooting guard in this class is Cassius Stanley out of Duke, a freshman, but he is a 21-year-old freshman. Not sure how that happens. High-energy guy, can really make a lot of fun plays on the basketball court. I think he'll get some plays in the open court, but unfortunately, his overall game just isn't that impressive. I think he'll fall to the second round. Let's go to number 9, a kid out of Kentucky, Immanuel Quickley. And this kid, I'll tell you what, very few people benefited from staying an extra year in college. This kid is one of them. His freshman year, he barely played at Kentucky, did not get a lot of time. Sophomore year, he comes in and proves that, honestly, he is probably the best pure shooter in this draft class. Only problem is, he's super small. Think about Lou Williams. He gets burned on the defensive end, but he puts up buckets on the offensive end. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be Lou Williams. In fact, there's no way he will be Lou Williams. Otherwise, he wouldn't be number 9 on my board here. 16 points per game, 4 boards, 43% from the three-point arc. That's really good. My problem is, freshman year Immanuel Quickley was not sophomore year Immanuel Quickley, and that's why I'm not ready or not sold on him as a first-round pick in this year's draft. Let's go to another elite shooter, which makes some sense because guess what? These are all shooting guards. Isaiah Joe out of Arkansas. Now, incredible guy, incredible shooter with NBA-ready range. So he doesn't toe the three-point line at the college level. He will be able to step out beyond the arc. The problem I have with Joe is his shot choice and his shot IQ has just been up and down. And the problem with that is he played at Arkansas. He didn't have a lot of people to pass to, didn't have a lot of decisions to be made other than really shoot the ball when he was open. Think Danny Green. Not Lakers in the finals, Danny Green. I'm talking like San Antonio Spurs, Danny Green. Now, maybe he doesn't reach quite that level. Maybe he's a step down from that. I think he should be an early second-round pick because 17 points per game on 34% shooting. I know that 34% doesn't look that good, but he had to take so many at Arkansas. Now, I included Isaiah Joe as high as I did because one of my actually best friends goes there and is in love with Isaiah Joe. But I want to know from you, what college team do you root for? Shout it out in the comment section down below. Literally any college. Now, me, if you know me and you watch the channel, Oklahoma State Cowboys, baby. Go Pokes. Coming in at number 7 in my top 10 shooting guards here is Skylar Mays, the senior out of LSU. That's right. They are more than just a football school. They've actually had some good basketball players come out of there, like Ben Simmons, Naz Reid, and even Tremont Waters as well. Now, the good thing about Skylar Mays staying for a full 4 years is he eventually got to show what he can do with the ball in his hands more often than not, and you could see the numbers take a huge jump forward each year. Freshman year, he barely plays, doesn't touch the court. Sophomore year, pretty much the same story. And that sophomore year and junior, he played with Tremont Waters. That took the ball out of his hands a lot. And then finally this senior year, he got to show what he can do. He scored 17 points per game, a really solid rebounder for a 6'3" shooting guard, and shot the ball at 39%. Now, the reason I have him so low, 2 reasons. Number 1, he's a senior. That always just dips your draft stock, unfortunately. Number 2, he's pretty undersized for the 2-guard position. He really shows to be a good catch-and-shoot guy. I think he will do that very well at the next level. Think Devontae Graham. I think that is the perfect comparison for Skylar Mays. I've got him at number 7 on my board. Let's go to number 6, JAHMI'US RAMSEY out of Texas Tech. Just a gifted scorer that his jump shot, although it was inconsistent at times at Texas Tech, the form itself is so pretty, and I think it's going to translate very well to the next level. He's got good athleticism. He's got long limbs, but he does get beat a lot on one-on-one. He kind of does the opposite of a defensive slide. He crosses his feet over, which gets him into trouble a lot. But at Tech in his freshman year, he scored 15 points per game and shot the ball at 42.6% from beyond the three-point arc. Some team's going to be very lucky that drafts him. I've seen him all over mocks. I personally have him in the mid to late 20s. I think he could climb up draft boards after some teams see him shoot in the draft combine. Let's go to number 5, another senior here, Desmond Bane, one of these kids that just does everything right. And I know I said earlier when I was talking about Skylar Mays that seniors kind of dips their draft stock. Kind of the opposite here with Desmond Bane. He's shown that he has a high basketball IQ. He's shown that all 4 years of college he can produce and do whatever you need him to do. He plays great defense, but one thing is he's not a great ball handler. If you're going to give him the ball, you better put him in a position to shoot, because when he shoots, it's going in more often than not. This past year at TCU, he shot 44% from 3 and scored 16 points per game. Also, pulling down 6 rebounds for a guard is pretty darn impressive. Look at how that dude is built. I need to go hit the gym with Desmond Bane. My Lord, that guy is ripped up. I think he's going to be a great NBA player. Some team's going to be very lucky. I've got him going late first round, but he should go a little bit higher. He'll just drop because he's a senior. Now, whoever your favorite team is, whoever they're going to draft, guess what? Fanatics is going to have their jersey available at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys, or maybe your favorite player is already in the NBA. Good thing. They've already got those jerseys ready for you to go. Go to chatsports.com/NBA jerseys to find these authentic Nike jerseys for as low as $70. The greatest deal you're going to find on actual authentic jerseys, not the ones that when you throw them in the wash or you throw them in the dryer, they get all crumpled up and wrinkled and gross. No. These are the real deal. Our friends at Fanatics are hooking you up today at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Let's move into number 4, and this is kind of where we take a step up in the tiers of shooting guards. And that's RJ Hampton, the kid out of the NBL. So obviously he went to the NBL to play there instead of playing college basketball, which honestly I think hurt his draft stock. Here's my thing with RJ Hampton, and I will stick to this until basically the draft rolls around. He has one of the highest ceilings in this draft, meaning he could really just blow the potential out of the water and just be at the top of the draft board. He also has a very low floor, which means he could either be top 5 pick talent worthy, or he could be out of the NBA by the end of his rookie contract. So you got to be very, very careful. Which version of RJ Hampton are you going to get? When he was in the NBL, it wasn't great numbers. 9 points per game, 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal. Now, granted, he was playing against grown men, which is much different than playing against the talent that Little Elm High School was playing against, which he scored 32 points, 10 rebounds per game, 6 assists, and he stole the ball 3.5 times per game. I think if this guy gets in an NBA gym, gets his body right, and gets his shot and defense under control, he is going to be, at the end of the day, kind of a top 5 talent, like in all honesty. Think Michael Porter Jr. a couple years ago. They took him at the end of the lottery because injury problems. RJ Hampton could do the same thing and get a guy at that same level. Let's go to number 3, a guy who I think is not so much a sexy pick, more of a safe pick when you go with Josh Green out of Arizona. If you take him, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy that defends on the ball and off the ball really, really well. He can slash to the basket and finish really high-level and energetic dunks. However, he can't create his own shot. Do not expect him to do that. Put him in a position where he can shoot the ball at a high level, because he shot it at 36% while he was at Arizona and scored 12 points per game in his freshman season. With his length, with his athleticism, he's going to be able to guard NBA wings right off the bat. I've got him going really just right past the lottery, maybe around that 16 to 20 mark. But I think some team's going to be pretty happy if they draft Josh Green in the middle of the first round. Let's go to number 2. And really, when you go 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4, there are 2 very different tiers. And at number 2, it's Devin Vassell out of Florida State. He's a great shooter. His wingspan is NBA ready, which means he'll come into the NBA. And much like Josh Green, he'll be a step up on the defensive end from him. When he gets to the rim, which doesn't always happen, he finishes very strong. And we'll talk about this more here in a minute, but his shot form's changing a little bit, which gives me a little bit of pause on this kid. But until I see otherwise, I'm going to have him at number 2. And one team that's already interested is the Golden State Warriors. That's right. The team with the number 2 overall pick is interested in this kid, which I have going in the middle of the lottery. Now, what they want to do is not take him at 2. They want to trade down and get him somewhere else, and I think that's a great idea. Golden State can pick up maybe a couple other picks or players and also get Devin Vassell around that 7 to 10 mark in the draft. You absolutely do it. This kid is going to be special at the next level, and he is a high-level shooter. Here is my only problem with Vassell, is that weird shot form that I saw in a video of him working out. He used to have a Klay Thompson type form. It was beautiful. I mean, it was picture perfect. Like, I would show my future kids how to shoot a basketball by showing them Devin Vassell videos. And then he changed his form. And he kind of did this thing where he pulled it behind his head like this and then let it go. And it was real ugly. I wouldn't recommend it to absolutely anybody, but hopefully it works out in his favor. Now, when the NBA draft rolls around, we're going to be live for it all. It is a great night. I mean, it's one of my favorite nights here at Chat Sports is when we're sitting in the NBA draft, going pick by pick, 1 all the way down to 60. I know the big guys over at ESPN, they showed a quesarito instead of the 47th overall pick getting picked when Nikola Jokic got picked. Not us. We're going to talk about every single player and every single pick on draft night. Go to youtube.com/chatsportstv or just hit that big red subscribe button. Let's go to number 1. Probably the most obvious thing you could have guessed. It's Anthony Edwards out of Georgia. Not just the best shooting guard in this draft, the best player in this draft. He should undoubtedly go number 1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves in this one. He's a great scorer, not a great shooter quite yet, but he knows his form is solid. I think it will come around. Plus, he's got an NBA-ready body. He's got a body that when he puts it up against other NBA players, he's going to be able to defend them very, very well. In his lone year at Georgia, he shot just 29% from 3. Not incredible, but still scored the ball well at 19 points per game. You put him on this Minnesota Timberwolves team, you plug him in right away at the 2 guard, and he and D'Angelo Russell just make too much sense together in the same backcourt. You got D'Lo, Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns to build around. I still love Jarrett Culver. I know he had a down rookie year, but he's always going to be that offensive prospect, or defensive prospect with some offensive work to be done. I'm telling you what, you get Culver and Edwards in there as the 2 young guys. You get Towns and D'Lo as the young veteran guys. This Minnesota team is going to be very, very good in a few years. Not quite next year, but give them a couple years to grow. Let them take Anthony Edwards, and I promise that team is going to thrive. Now, you saw my top 10, and you know me, hater Jimmy. I obviously had to hate on someone, or maybe there was someone that I didn't even include. Now, maybe there's some guys that you're like, oh, you didn't include Leandro Balmero. Leandro Balmero is a small forward, okay? There's some guys that you might see on my small forward list. But of the 10 that I listed, which shooting guard was too low in your opinion? Go ahead, call me out, give me all the hate that I deserve in the comment section.